So I have a newer client, and she is an amazing coach. She helps people with their personal finances. She helps them save money, invest money, budget, and pay off debt and grow their personal finances. She came to me, and her biggest thing is that her to do list is longer at the end of the day than it is at the beginning of the day. And she hasn't been able to find a way to work in a way that is enjoyable while growing her business, right? When she started out, the business was enjoyable. Obviously, there's always growing pains when you're starting your business. But she was working with clients, doing the work that she's put on this earth to do. Like she loves working with clients and their personal finances. That's her thing, that's her jam, that's her passion. And as the business grew, she's at six figures a year. And that meant taking on a bunch of marketing tasks, right? Creating content, doing marketing, doing sales, getting new clients, everything involved in getting new clients. And if you're a leader, coach, expert, healer, service provider, you know all that's involved in getting a new client. It's especially when you're in the beginning phases of your business and you're not yet at six figures a year. You're doing it all, right? You're doing all the marketing, you're doing all the sales, you're doing all the delivery, probably, right? And one of the reasons that she was able to build a successful six figure business is because she did it all, right? She did all the marketing, she did all the sales, she did all the delivery. And the thing is, when you're starting out, you don't really know exactly what's going to work in any of those in delivery, marketing, sales. You don't really know. You're experimenting a little bit, right? You're trying things. So you're trying it all, which means you're doing a bunch of things. But once you get to a certain point, once you get to six figures and you want to take your business to the next level, whether that's more impact, more revenue, more profits, whatever it is, you're not going to be able to do that by doing all these same things, right? Um, so she's got this problem. Her to do list is always longer at the end of the day than it is at the beginning. And this is causing her it upsets her. She gets angry about this. She's irritable about this, right? And it's stressful because she's still doing it all in her business. And, it's affecting her health, right? Because she's physically feeling that stress most days. It's affecting her family to some degree because she's irritable with her son, she's irritable with her husband at times, or just stressed, right? And so she wants to change this dynamic. She wants to have this amazing business where she's serving people at the highest levels with their personal finances, but she doesn't want to have this heavy weight, this feeling that the business, there's so much resistance at this point in running the business, and it's because she's doing it all. And now, when I mean doing it all and how to fix that, when I'm talking to her, the solution is not just outsource things, because a lot of times that's what people think. They think, well, I'll just outsource, I'll just hire other coaches and outsource delivery. Well, guess what? Now you're managing coaches, right? And a lot of people that I know, some people would enjoy that. Some people would enjoy managing a bunch of coaches that are serving their clients. But a lot of the people I work with, they don't want to be managing other coaches. They want to be serving clients because they actually like the change work. They actually like the transformational work with the clients. right? So a lot of times the solution is not just outsourcing. Now, what else could you do? Well, you could outsource marketing, you could outsource sales, right? So most people, when they think of, oh, I need to get to this next level, I need to get things off my to-do list, the first go-to is outsourcing. Let me outsource the marketing or sales or delivery. But even in sales and marketing, again, people you outsource this to are not just going to run this smoothly without your input. You're going to have to cause the marketing and sales to get done by managing the marketing and salespeople, right? So then you move in again to more of that management position, which is fine if you love that. But so with this client, the most important thing I'm doing with her is we're looking at, before we want to outsource anything, we want to look at what are the things in your business that you really enjoy doing, and what are the real needle movers. Well, one of the biggest needle movers in your business, especially once you're already at six figures a year and you want to take things to the next level, one of the most important things you could do is take a look at how you've set up your offers in your business and that relates to your delivery, because the promises you make in your offers absolutely decide what kind of delivery you have of your services, right? So one of the first things my wife and I do when we work with someone at this in this stage of their business is we're going to look at your offers and we're going to create what we call a first date offer. A first date offer is really important to have in your business at this stage because it enables you to eliminate a lot of marketing and sales activities. And when you set it up right, when you make a very specific small promise on the front end, it also helps you with your delivery of your services. Because what most people are doing, this is why most people have to spend so much time in marketing, sales, and delivery, is because to get new clients, they're making big promises like, I'm going to help you make more money. I'm going to help you lose weight. I'm going to help you, like this client, a big promise might be like, I'm going to help you um, save money for your kids' college. I'm going to help you, be able to retire. Just big, most people in their service based businesses are making these big promises. They're usually general promises, not very specific and kind of vague. And what that does is it means you have to do a lot of marketing and sales to sell that kind of an offer. It's very hard to say yes to a big promise that's probably not that believable to where someone is, and also that is like this big journey someone has to go on to get this big promise, right? It's a big ask, it's a big promise. So you have to do a lot of marketing and sales to sell that, right? You might have to do these long webinars, you might have to make these complicated marketing funnels, you might have to be on long, kind of high pressure sales calls for 60 to 90 minutes to really be able to enroll someone in a big promise. Ashley and I, my wife and I, we call that a marriage offer. If you're making a marriage offer to a stranger, that's going to be very difficult. You're going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting in marketing and sales. Also, guess what? When someone accepts your marriage offer, your big promise, in the front end of your business and the entry point of how people are going to work with you, now that makes your delivery very difficult because you just promised this person the world. You just promised to do big things with them. So now you have to make that happen, and you're going to have to work your butt off for over a long period of time with this person to get that to happen. And honestly, most likely, you won't get them to that big promise right away. So they're probably going to leave unhappy. So what my Ashley and I, my wife, what we do is when we work with someone like this client in this position in their business, is we're going to help them set up the offers in their business. And the number one offer is your first date offer. The first offer people are going to say yes to in working with you. This is how you get a new client. We need to make that easy to say yes to so we can take away a lot of the marketing and sales that you would have to do to sell on a new client. When you have a first date offer that's very simple, easy, understandable, it's impossible to misunderstand. It's a very small specific promise that you're going to do one or two things for this person. That's much easier to sell. You can eliminate a lot of those marketing and sales to dos. So I already know this client, a lot of her marketing and sales to dos are going to come off her to do list, off her calendar, just from creating this first date offer in the way that we do. And then it's also going to take off some of her delivery to dos. Delivery is going to be much simpler, much more streamlined, because she's only going to be working with someone on a very specific small promise. And then guess what? This big promise she's making on the front end, this can now become her back end. This can now become the thing that once this person works with her and they get a quick win or two on the front end, if she wants to help them more long term, let's say for 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever it is, then she could make that bigger promise, that marriage offer. And people have already worked with her. They already know, like, and trust her. They've already gotten a quick result with her. So then it's much easier to have them join you in that. So we're going to create a first date offer for her. That is literally going to revolutionize her business and her to-do list. Now, if you would like to put this kind of a first date offer in your business, reach out to me. Comment below or reach out to me in the DMs, and we can have a quick back and forth to see if this first date offer would be something that would be a good next step for you. Kind of depends on where you are in your business.